Hello everyone. Finally, we reached the last lecture for economic issues in public administration. In the previous lectures, we learned public choice theories which focus on bureaucrats' behavior. In this lecture for local governance, we will learn a public choice theory which focuses on citizens' behavior. So that theory assumes that citizens are self-interested and rational to select public services. This public choice theory for local governance is called Thibault hypothesis. I don't know how many of you watched my video introduction, but there I mentioned that my dissertation topic is about Thibault hypothesis. So I hope you will find this theory as very interesting. So this lecture focuses on public choice theory for citizens' behavior. According to Fredrickson 2012, the course reading for Lecture 6, the explanation power of public choice theory becomes much sharper when it applies neoclassic economic assumption to citizens rather than bureaucrats. The reasoning for his explanation is mechanism of bureaus is not really similar to market mechanism. For instance, instead of buyer-seller relationship, principal-agent model created principal-agent relationship to apply market economics to the public sector. However, roles of principal and agents are not clear as buyer and sellers because they don't share the same purpose, such as increasing profits. On the other hand, citizens consume public goods and services, same as private goods. So, patterns and motivations of consumption in the market studied by neoclassic economics can be more applicable and powerful to the pattern of consumption for public goods and services. So, we might be able to see citizens as consumers of public goods and services. However, as we learned in public goods theory, individual citizens cannot determine levels of public good and service provision. That condition violates basic neoclassic economic assumption where individuals make a choice rather than organizations. So how to reflect citizen demand for public goods and services, a key issue for the public choice theory. A traditional economist argues that there is only one way for citizens to affect spending and taxes of the government, voting. On the other hand, when we focus on local governments, there are many local public good and service providers. So individual citizens might be able to select a best one among many local governments by moving. So in the traditional view, citizens' choice for public goods and services are very limited because voting is the only way for them to affect local public goods and services. So they just can say yes or no. However, once we consider citizens moving as their choice for public goods and services, the effect of citizens' behavior on public goods and service provision becomes much more various and wider. In the later slides, the traditional view of citizens' choice in local governance is called public choice without mobility, voting. And this wider and broader world of citizens' choice in local governance is called public choice through mobility, vote with feet. And this is the Thibault hypothesis. So we firstly learn two traditional theories of citizens' choice in local governance. The first theory is median voter theorem. This theory for majority voting assumes that there are several candidates who suggest different levels of local public expenditure. Let's assume that the main topic of an election is infrastructure spending. One candidate suggests $5 million for new infrastructure. Another candidate suggests $10 million. Fourth candidate suggests $20 million. Fifth candidate suggests $25 million. And sixth candidate suggests $30 million, and so on. And then each candidate different portion of supporters in the community, 8%, 50%, 20%, 30%, 10%. As a result of majority voting, who will win? It's clear that this group will win, and then the level of infrastructure spending is decided to at $25 million. So median voter theorem suggests that in a majority voting, always these median voters will win. This theorem is based on statistical notion, normal distribution. Some of you might not study statistics yet, so I'll just simply explain it. When a distribution has large sample size, that distribution forms a bell shape. This is normal distribution. In most communities, election involves thousands of people, so election results will follow normal distribution. As a consequence, median voters always win. However, please note that premise of this theorem is multiple candidates. If an election has only two candidates, the election result cannot follow normal distribution. According to the median voter theorem, if median voters always win in a majority voting, what kind of issues will the community face? First, dissatisfaction among taxpayers with the result. As you see, only 30% of people can reflect their demands on public expenditure as a result of this majority voting. So other 70% of people in this community will be dissatisfied with this level of spending. In the traditional view, public choice without mobility, community might have a conflict between citizens. However, according to Thibault hypothesis, public choice through mobility, dissatisfied people might just move out. The second issue of median voters' result is inefficient level of spending. The decision-making process of majority voting does not involve interactions of buyers and sellers. In other words, this does not involve all the citizens. Only 30% of the voters can reflect their demands because they are median voters. There is no guarantee where median voters know efficient level of spending. Basically, the amount of public expenditure decided by majority voting will not achieve either allocative or technical efficiency. This is the end of this video for lecture 11. In the next video, we will learn another traditional theory for decision-making of local expenditure. Also, we will learn the core issue of this lecture, Thibault hypothesis.